Hey guys, welcome back to our e-classroom on Lean and Six Sigma. I'm your e-guru and we will be doing some e-learning on tool that has a great importance in turning data into information. The tool is Histogram and it was first used by Carl Pearson. He's a great mathematician. You might have heard more about Pearson's coefficient and all those things when you move further into scatter plots and correlation. What we'll do now is tell you something more about how this came into picture. Histogram is actually a graphical representation that brings up or shows the distribution of numerical data. Before this we worked upon on Pareto chart. So histogram, Pareto chart, scatter diagram, cause and effect, check sheet, control sheets, stratification, these are known as 7QC tools. These are very important tools and basic work can easily be done. I mean, you need not work too deep. If you know 7QC tools, most of the work that you would be doing can be sufficed. So let's understand that with data. Guys, most of you would have been to restaurants. What happens usually in restaurants, average, we usually give a tip of rupees 10, rupees 20 or so. I mean, just guessing, okay? As per what you have been doing, or most of us do when we go to restaurants. Some of us might be giving a higher amount as tip, or maybe if you are going to a bigger restaurant, just to see that you are in class, or people who spend more, so they would be giving like 100, 150, etc. These would be different from the common mob. So these type of data we usually call as outliers. So let's create our own data sheet to understand. So what I'll do is I'll mark the column name as TIPS. Now we have to enter data. So as I was telling, most of the tips would be in this range of 10 or 20, maybe 15, maybe 5, 1 or 2, maybe 5. More would be in the range of 10 or 20, 10, 25, 20, 20, 10, 15. I'm just taking some data points. And 1 or 2 in between might come up as 100. Some 50 can be one such thing. So I'm just adding some data points. What happens is when you see this data, ideally, okay, so what do you infer with so much of data? This is a small data, so what you can do, you can sometime want to calculate mean out of it, but mean might not give the exact representation of data. So histogram actually tells us how this data is distributed under various buckets. So what it will do is it will categorize in the form of like 10 to 20, how many are there, 20 to 30 or 20 25 as you have given the classes. So let's make an histogram and then understand what it actually does, right? So what we'll do is we'll go to graph, come down there on the fifth drop down, scatter plot, matrix, bubble, marginal and histogram. So see here, it actually gives you a hint. Minitab is a very wonderful tool, my friends. It tells you, examines the shape, spread of your data. Don't panic much. See, it has a requirement that large sample data of more than 20. So what we'll do is we'll click on histogram. I'm shaking up my palm. Yeah. So two types of histogram. One would be simple, one would be fit. I mean, when you select fit, you will get a bell curve that is also provided. First, we'll try to learn simple histogram. Here we go and click OK. What it asks is, we have to tell Minitab that which column it has to select. So here in graph variable, you can see the cursor, come and select C1. Then you can click on select. You can see the column TIPS, what I wrote, the column name here has come up. Now what you need to do is just click OK. Minitab automatically makes a graph for you. So next question, how do we read it? Before telling you, let me tell you what is there on the x-axis and the y-axis. So we had been giving 10, 20, 40, 60. So what it did is our data value ranges from more than 0 till 100, right? So it will start characterizing. So it is kept things like you can see here from 0 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 60, 60 to 80 and 100. Okay, so and here is the frequency. How many times did 10 occur? 10 occurred 10 times. Okay, in this manner it will distribute whatever is the data that you have. Now what we do, you can select this by clicking there on the x-axis once and then do a double click. The box that opened now, you can go here and click on binning. Here you can see number of intervals. So if you want the intervals to be more, just click here and you can make it furthermore. So this is already in place, 10, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. In this manner you can see 10 and 20 and 30 intervals are already done. But if I want the same on the scale, what I'll do is first I'll come to midpoints and select this. Once I have selected, just do a right click and copy. We'll go back to scale. Here we click on the position of the text. You see 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. So one tick is at 20, one is at 40, one at 60. What we do is we'll just select this. We had already selected in binning, so we'll do a paste of that. So the requirement is in 10, 20, 30, 40, 60. What we'll do next is we'll click OK to see what happens. You saw initially it was like 20, 40, 60. Now you can get it in this manner. You want to change the bidding, so once again you can double click here. I'm sorry, it did not work well. I think first you have to select and then double click, right? Now what we do, we go to bidding. You can increase the number of intervals if you want from 10 to 20. See 20, we click OK now. So what difference did it make from the previous one? It has distributed in terms of 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 20, 10 to 15, 15 to 20 in this record, right? Now we also want the tick marks to be like this. Then we do a double click, go to binning, we go to midpoints or cut points and we select and we do a right click and we copy. Then we can go back to scale. Here once again we do the same thing that we repeated. Once again, right click and paste whatever you have copied in binning. Click OK. Okay, yeah. So the values now have changed in terms of 5, 10, 15, 20 in the scale as well, right? One more thing what we will also do in histogram, if you are not much comfortable with whatever you want here, just double click on the title. You can change the font as to whatever you like. We cancel it because we don't. Okay, let's try it up. We'll put a histogram of tips in red color. No other changes will make, right? So just click select red and select OK. You can see that is changed to red. Now what we will do is we will try to make a new histogram selecting different data, right? Best thing to do is go to graph, come to histogram and simple, click OK. You got a help here. So what you can do is Minitab has provided a very good help menu. The moment you click help, it tells you what else you can do, how you can use other tools. So just go to help. You see another dialog box opens. Here in examples, you can just click example of a simple histogram and example of a histogram with fit. So click on simple histogram. You see open the worksheet cap.mtw. So we'll try to learn through this. So we'll close the help menu and cancel this. We'll go to file and in open worksheet, click here to look into the sample folder. What Minitab has did for you is it has provided you some data so that you can directly go and open those data files and get. So it was cap. So we'll go to CAP. Here is cap.mtw. Click open. The moment we clicked open, it has given us some data points. What we'll do now is we'll select this column and make a histogram of it. So the same steps, we will go back to graph. From graph we'll come to histogram. Histogram once again will we have already seen simple. Let's do with fit. Click OK. In group variable you can select and click select and click OK. You see a histogram, along with that a bell curve is also given. You can change the binning. What you can now see here is this is more like the data points are lesser on this side and you find a one big lump over here. We call these type of graph as skewed graph because data points are not centered. Okay. So what happens in a skewed graph is there would be some data point or some outliers that would be on another range. Okay. So for better understanding, we'll once again go back to our simple graph so that I can show you the outliers as well. I'll click OK and here we'll select torque and click OK. So this is your histogram. You can see the difference between the two. What I'll immediately do is I'll go back, I'll go to number of intervals and I'll raise it to 20 so that we understand that better. Okay, and what we'll also do is once we have done that 20, so we'll raise it much more bigger. Okay, so let's take some more. We can 20 seems fine. Let's make it to 25 so that we can understand better. Okay, we click OK. So you see as we are changing the number of intervals, the distance between that is also changing. You can just select and copy it. I'll use a shortcut of Control-C and here we'll come to position of text. We select this and Control-V for paste. We'll click OK. You see our values here in the scale is changed, what I already told you, right? Now what else do we see? Here you have this column as the maximum. So this would be your mode. It has got repeated itself as 14 times. Usually what happens whenever you have a histogram where data are more towards the right hand side, you have the mean that is moving towards the right hand side, but mode is this one on the left hand side. So mean would be greater than mode. Why will mean be greater? It's because there are certain outliers that are here, so they increase the average position towards the right hand side. Okay, now let me show you the same with the values. So how can we see all the data like mean, median, number, etc.? We'll go to graph. We go to stat, right? Not graph. So in basic statistics, we come back to display descriptive statistics. This is a simple and easy way to understand. So what we click here, we do a click here, we select torque and we click select. In statistics, you can come here and what you can select is first you do it none and whatever you want. So let's see, we want mean, we also want standard deviation values. What we'll also see is if we can get the median, if we can get the mode, just to compare in between, and click OK. Here you can see mean is 21, median is 20, it is lesser, mode is 15 and 17. So 15 and 17 have got repeated the maximum number of times, right? You can see the difference. So for a histogram that is skewed towards the right side, it will have the mean greater than the median and greater than the mode, right? So for more details on this, you can go back and you can keep practicing. What I'll just tell you something more is, you've seen the column here, so there's something like first quartile, third quartile, interquartile. You'll learn more about it when we talk about box plot. Till then, have a nice day.